Hey everyone, it's Riley, and today I'm going to be moving into my new journal for the second half of 2021. Starting a new journal is always so exciting, and I am just so happy with how this setup turned out, so I hope that you guys like it too. What I wanted to do for this journal, since it's just for the second half of the year, is I wanted to take some elements of my 2021 beginning of the year setup. So if you guys watched that video, I did this little paint roller theme with some peach colors and some gray blues. If you didn't watch that video, here it is, you can check it out. So I wanted to take some elements from that video, but also combine it with more of my current style, because I feel like I, as a bullet journaler, have grown quite a bit since then. So I wanted to incorporate some of my new favorites as well. So for the journal itself, I will be using another Archer and Olive journals. I just have been so happy with the way that their journals have performed. The paper quality, everything is just so perfect for me. And if you are also in the market for a new journal and you're interested in Archer and Olive, please feel free to check out the description, because I recently became an affiliate with Archer and Olive, so I will have a discount code for you there that will give you a cheaper price and me a small commission, so it's really just a win-win if you're looking for a new journal for yourself. I will also be using some of my new products from Paperwrld, so mostly stamps and stuff like that, which is something that I have never used in my journal before. I don't own a single stamp other than my little Riley Autumn logo that I stamp into the back of my Etsy orders, so a big thank you to Paperwrld for that, and their information will be linked in the description box as well. So if you're wanting to plan along with me, you can grab your journal. If you have some stamps and you want to use them, feel free to grab those, but other than that, you'll just need a few different markers, a black pen, and maybe a white gel pen if you've got one as well. So with that, let's go set up this new bullet journal. So here's my new journal. Like I said, it's from Archer and Olive. It's an A5 size bullet journal, just like my previous one. And like I said, I'm trying to kind of carry over some of the same elements as I used for my beginning of 2021 setup, but also add a bit of a new twist to it. So to start off, yes, I am carrying on with that paint roller theme, but instead of doing a bunch of small ones, I'm just gonna have one big one here for the title. So that's what I'm coloring in right now, is just this big sort of stripe of paint. But you guys, I will tell you, I did this with my Tombow, and I'll link the specific colors down below, but literally the day after I got my Crayola Colors of the World markers in the mail. I don't know if you've heard of them, but if you are looking for just awesome sort of neutral or muted colors, the idea is Crayola has put out a bunch of different skin tones all in one set. So whether you're using them to actually draw people or not, it's such a cool set of markers that I was so excited about. So anyways, I got it, and it had a marker that would have been even more perfect for this setup, for the background of the paint here that I just colored. So would recommend the Crayola Colors of the World if you're looking for a bunch of neutral skin toned colors in all variety of skin tones. So anyways, that's my sort of the base for my paint roller. Now, as you can see, I'm writing 2021 part 2, and those really cute little stamps that you see in the corner that I used for the part 2, yes, those are the ones that I got from Paperwrld. So like I said in my intro, I will have a link to their stuff down in the description. I would definitely recommend checking them out if you're interested in stamps, because they had a wide variety. So now I'm going on top of my first layer, I guess, of the paint roller with a bunch of different sort of brownish orangish tones, and I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be. It kind of looks like camo, but it was actually more supposed to look like that sort of confetti stuff, it's called terrazzo or something like that. I probably butchered the pronunciation, and I'm really sorry if I did, but it's supposed to look kind of like that. Turned out looking more like camouflage, but honestly, I don't care. I love it either way. These colors right now are just my favorite. All of these sort of burnt oranges and browns, and that one sort of army green or olive green. I really love how they look together. So, I'm pretty happy with how this setup turned out. And I did add this little paint roller on the end. However, I decided to go in and thicken it up. The black fine liners that I'm using right now, by the way, are the ones from Mr. Pen. So the Mr. Pen black multi-liners, they're awesome. They come in a variety of sizes, and those will be linked below as well. So that was my title page, just a big paint roller with the title 2021 Part 2. Moving on, I'm making another sort of paint swatch or paint roller stripe here, again coloring it in with that background color, and this page is going to be my future log. So for the future log, I noticed in the first half of 2021 I really don't make use of the calendars. Like, sure, it looks kind of nice to have them there, but even when I do go and like mark in a date of someone's birthday or like an event or something, I never actually highlight that day on the calendar like I intend to. So I decided to just altogether ditch the calendars for this future log and really simplify it, and that way I can leave space for other things too. So like I said, I'm starting off with the heading here, and all of the markers aside from that sort of background color are my Crayola Super Tips. And again, if I could go back and set up this bullet journal spread one day later, once I had my Crayola Colors of the World markers, if I could do that, then all of the colors would be from Crayola. They really do have a great variety, but the rest of these are all from the Crayola Super Tips 100 pack, which is also linked below. And I often get questions from you guys about just like stationery recommendations for getting started with bullet journaling, and these would probably be my #1 recommendation, just to go ahead and get the Crayola Super Tips pack of 100. They have an awesome variety of colors there. So now my future log is kind of starting to take shape here. And at the beginning of the year, I did a full 12-month future log, even though I knew that I wasn't going to use this same journal for the whole year. I just like to have all of those dates in one place, you know, like all of my family members' birthdays and holidays and things like that. I love having them all in one place. So I do that at the beginning of the year. And now this future log is going to be a little bit more maybe like functional than my other one. So you can see I'm just going to leave these columns completely empty, but that way I have lots of space to write in not only like key dates, but also like my goals and my priorities for that month. So even if I think of it like months in advance and I have a specific, you know, product that I want to design and a ideal, like, I don't know, process to launch that, I can list those kinds of things in my future log as well, because I'm leaving lots of space. So anyways, we are way past that now. Here is my when did I last page on the left, and then my cleaning tracker on the right. So both of these I'm just transferring over from the beginning of the year because I used these spreads all the time. I would come to these pages like my future log, my when did I last page, my cleaning tracker. I visited these at the beginning of every single month when I went to actually fill in that monthly calendar, and I found them so helpful. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically just ditching that sort of really light beige background color that I used before and just doing the sort of camo terrazzo design without that to make this sort of header. So for my when did I last page, I am changing up the format a little bit. I didn't really love how it turned out in my first journal spread for this year. So this time what I'm doing is I'm just gonna have sort of a column for each month, and then I can just draw a dot or write in the date if I want to when I actually complete that task. I hope that makes sense. So I'm actually doing the same thing for my cleaning tracker, which is quite a bit different, but here you can see I'm leaving a column for July, August, September, and so on all the way to December, and then I'll just write the task, like for example, get my oil changed or get my wedding ring cleaned. I'll write down the task on the far left, and then I can just either write in the date or simply do a dot or a check mark or whatever to symbolize that it was done in that month, so that I can just stay on top of all of those things. And the same way for my cleaning tracker. At the beginning of the year, I wrote down like things I wanted to do daily, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, but here I just decided to do some of the bigger tasks that I know I'm not going to do as often, like clean out my freezer and I don't know, clean the windows, things that I don't do very often. I'm going to use this specifically for those things, and it'll essentially be just like my when did I last, except for it's more focused on house chores instead of just kind of general tasks. So moving on here, I'm making 2 smaller headings for the next 2 pages, and again I'm just using this really light Tombow marker to color in the backgrounds of these. So over on the left here, I've got my health tracker. I just wrote health, didn't feel like writing tracker, I guess. And on the right, I will have my sort of social media stats page, a bit different than I did at the beginning of the year. But these are both sort of taken from my beginning of the year spreads, but just adapted to fit me better now that I know how I actually like to use these pages. So again, I'm just drawing, I tried to draw sort of like random shapes, but also kind of like square-ish edges, you know, so that it didn't look too much like camouflage. Kind of backfired, still ended up looking like camo, but I am totally fine with that. So here I've got my 2 headings, and this paint roller doodle, if you've never seen it before, seriously, it's one of my go-tos. It's just so easy, and I personally think it's quite cute. So for my health tracker, I'm just writing the days 1 to 31 down the side here. And if you've ever seen like a year in pixels sort of page, I use my health tracker essentially in the same way, except for instead of tracking like my mood like I would with a year in pixels, I'm tracking what's going on in my body. So I'm gonna put a key on the side here, and really you can put whatever you want in this key. So I like to include not only like symptoms and issues like headache, sore throat, whatever, but I also like to include different medications. Like I'll write down Tylenol, Advil, whatever, melatonin even, and then I have a way of knowing exactly when I took those things. Honestly, I'm thinking about it right now and I don't really know why, like it's never really come that much in handy for me, the tracking medication part, but you know, I like it anyways. I just like to stay on top of that kind of stuff. So if you want to use a spread like this, you can absolutely just customize it to you and use the things that you actually need. So over on the other side here, I'm setting up my stats page. And so I'm just making sort of a colored stripe for each month that will be in this journal. So again, July through to December. And this is where I'm gonna write my stats for different like social media platforms just to stay on top of that. So at the beginning of the year, you may remember I made like this, instead of a stats page, I made like a YouTube goals page. And my goal for the end of 2021 was to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I passed that before January started, thanks to my 2021 setup video that I've been referring to so often. So this time I decided not to set any goals, but instead to just like record things. So I've got a spot for my YouTube subscribers, my Instagram followers, my Etsy income, and then I've just recently started doing more TikToks, so I'm gonna try tracking that as well. We'll see how it goes. And then down at the bottom is just going to be my YouTube income over here. So moving on here, this is something that I actually ended up adding to my beginning of the year spreads, but I didn't film it because I didn't think I was going to do it. But like I said, kind of change of plan, and so I am carrying this over from the beginning of the year, even though you guys probably haven't seen that spread. So over on the left, I'm going to be tracking things that I order from like Amazon and other websites. And then on the right, I'll be tracking things that different people are sending to me for like collaborations or sponsorships and things like that, just so I can stay on top of that. So again, I'm doing the same style of heading here, just drawing a bunch of different blobs. And as you may have noticed, none of these like pages have been very complicated. And that's kind of something that I like to do in my bullet journal, is just like make it aesthetically pleasing, but also make it like simple so that you guys can easily recreate this if you want to. Yes, the calligraphy part will definitely take practice. If you're not like super into calligraphy yet, it will take you a lot of time to get good at it and come to a place where you're totally satisfied with it. But other than that, these doodles are very, very simple. So I just filled the page with a bunch of different columns, and at the top here, I'm writing down the item, the site that I bought it from, the date that I ordered it, and then just a spot to check off if it arrives. So that's for the orders page. The brands page has a little bit more information, or the collabs page, sorry. So on the left, I've got a spot to write down the brand, and then I have a little down arrow. I don't know why I use that, but that symbolizes that it made it here. Then I have a little tiny camera icon that I filmed the video or took the picture with it, and then a check mark to show that I completed that. So heading back to do a quick flip through, I've got my 2021 Part 2 title, and I really love this page. I love the white space it has. Then I've got my future log. Then I have my when did I last page and my cleaning tracker, my health tracker, and my social media stats sheet. And then I have a place to track all the different packages that I'm expecting. Thank you all so much for joining me to set up the second half of 2021. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.